We start to look at Messerfechten as depicted in the Codex Wallerstein.
This is the Kitsune clan, a group of sword enthusiasts who like cosplay, reenactment, and historical martial arts. If you have similar interests, feel welcomed.
We already had a look at Messerfechten as it was depicted in the books by Hans Talhoffer, and we recognized there wasn't too much of it. We therefore want to have a look at other Fechtbücher and what they have to provide concerning Messerfechten. Today we will start to explore Messerfechten techniques as presented in the Codex Wallerstein, also known as the Bauman Codex. There are a few of these, so we will have several videos dedicated to some of these techniques. If we start out, the first depicted technique should be recognizable easily to us. It's one of the techniques that have also been shown in the Talhoffer books. Basically, Talhoffer's second play is depicted here. So we will not further explore this aspect. This can be found in the video about Talhoffer's Messerfechten, which is linked in the description box. The second technique is already different and has not been depicted in the Talhoffer books, and so we have to explore this at a bit. Apparently, the left hand has been used to trap the hand and the messer of the opponent, and we attack the opponent in the head region. At first, I was thinking this could be something like Serrada's outside pass, so an attack on angle 1 would be passed with the left hand, and then we would have an attack with the weapon. But the specific way in which the wrist of the opponent has been gripped, locking the handle of the opponent, cannot easily be achieved from angle 1. So in the end, it seems that angle 2 seems to be the most likely attack. We can defend with a vom Tag-like position, but then we would probably attack with a stab. As the depiction shows more of a strike from above, it seems more likely that this attack has been stopped by using the position of Hangetort. Then we have a very fast strike after the weapon of the opponent has been locked away. It's still a bit of a fiddly way to match exactly this position. Your left hand has to come a bit from below so that it's possible to lock away the handle of the messer of the opponent, but then you have a really decent control over the weapon of the opponent. It's in principle possible to move the weapon in a way that you can stab the opponent with his or her own weapon or cut him also with his or her own weapon, and it's clearly out of the way and it's possible to attack the head. As another option, it is well possible to use this after an attack from angle 4, at least a cut attack, because then the hand of the opponent is basically already in this position that we need to grip the hand in this way. Yet then we would probably not attack the head in this way because that's a long and unnecessary way. It would be easier to stab. Depending how you perform exactly the trapping of the hand more downwards, then you would probably draw out your own messer and stab from above. Or if you more twist it and not push so much downward, it's also possible to leave the weapon where it was after the deflection with a Alba-like position and just stab forward. The next technique, the second play, is a bit less easy to understand, and we will first discuss how it is exactly depicted, but then also mention how we would usually further develop this technique, because it derives a bit from what we know from other martial arts styles and what also feels good with the messer. We again see an attack from angle 2. We protect ourselves with a vom Tag-like position, but then take in the force, flip over into a Wacht position, then push the handle of our own messer forward while the left hand secures the weapon and the arm of the opponent. Our own handle hooks onto the wrist of the opponent, locking the weapon. The same time we make a step forward with the left leg and we can pull the weapon of the opponent against our own body. This is the point where it feels a bit strange, but if you properly pull, it's in fact the flat side of the messer that is pressed against the own body. Now the left hand is free and can push against the neck or the face of the opponent. The own left foot is placed slightly behind the right foot of the opponent, and with this we can throw the opponent backward, or we can disarm him by pulling backward the right hand where we have interlocked with his wrist. This is at first a bit complicated to look at, but in fact it's a very simple motion that can be performed very fast. It's a forward oriented motion that also deals well with the incoming forces, and the end position is in fact rather stable and well controlled. What could happen is that the opponent defends against our left hand with his or her left hand, but then we can of course play with other well-known techniques that we know from the old Fechtbücher, but also from modern styles like Wing Chun or FMA. We can then simply, after this deflection, pull at the hand of the opponent and control the opponent in this way as well. As said, the entrance looks very, very classical. This flipping over from Tag into the Wacht is very similar to what we know in Wing Chun as the Tan Sao Bong Sao transition. So this gives us the opportunity to deal with the incoming force of the opponent while controlling the incoming arm. That's a very well established method. Hooking in with the butt, so with the handle for disarming, is also a well-established concept that we, for example, see in FMA. But if we compare that to FMA, we would probably usually use the left hand to lock the weapon of the opponent, either directly on the handle or on the blade, but close to the handle, so where it's usually not as sharp. And we can also grab not the sharp part of the blade, but the dull side, so the back side and the flat side, and then disarm also with the left foot in front, but with a bit more distance to the opponent, by this pulling with the own handle against the wrist of the opponent, disarming and using the weapon of the opponent in the left hand. This gives us a lot of control and works also very well, similar against an angle too. Another possible derivation that we can get from that is if we can use the handle in this type of position, we could of course also use the blade as a kind of disarming tool. But to get into that, we need another attack. So if the opponent is attacking in angle 3, we can sweep away the incoming attack, raise it, and by that our blade falls again into the Wacht, but this time behind the blade of the opponent, and therefore we can use this motion for disarming. Again, here it's important that the left hand has secured the weapon of the opponent. This is not exactly the depicted technique, but it uses the same principle, and therefore we are showing this here as a variant that we can derive from the principles as shown in the Codex Wallerstein. These are now two techniques already that we have seen in the Codex Wallerstein that are missing in the Talhoffer Fecht books. As we will see, there will be even more of these, and we will further explore these in some future videos. For the moment, we hope this already gives you some inspiration, and we hope to see you around next time.